10 Unsettling Facts About the Amityville Horror. There's much controversy regarding what exactly happened in the house in Amityville, New York, that day on November 13, 1974. What's for certain is that, in that house, Ronald DeFeo Jr. murdered his family, his parents, 2 brothers, and 2 sisters. More than a year after the tragedy, the Lutzes family bought the house, and later claimed it was inhabited by spirits. 1. The murders. The story goes that on November 13, 1974, Ronald DeFeo Jr., using a Marlin rifle, methodically walked into each bedroom in his house, killing everyone as he went. His parents, 2 brothers, and 2 sisters were all found in the exact same position, laying on their stomachs in their beds. DeFeo claimed that voices told him to kill his family, though he changed his story many times over. He was serving 6 consecutive life sentences. He died on March 12, 2021. 2. Spin-offs. There are a total of 21 Amityville horror-related movies. The films span from 1979 up to the present day. Of the films, most were straight-to-video releases, with only 4 films reaching wide release in theaters: The Amityville Horror, 1979, Amityville 2, The Possession, Amityville 3D, and The Amityville Horror, 2005. 3. 3:15 a.m. The DeFeo family killings took place at 3:15 a.m., and this motif lived on with George Lutz. Reportedly, when he was living in the house, he would wake up at 3:15 every morning. Inexplicably, multiple members of the crew for the Amityville Horror remake allegedly began waking up at 3:15 a.m. as well, including Ryan Reynolds, Melissa George, and other crew members. 4. Evil Eyes. The most notable thing about the Amityville Horror House has to be the so-called evil eyes of its windows. These windows would prove to be so iconic, in fact, that subsequent owners of the home had to replace them with regular rectangle-shaped windows in an attempt to discourage tourists and fans from hanging around. 5. Furniture. The Lutzes purchased the house for $80,000, which was a steal at the time. For an additional $400 they were able to buy all the furniture left in the house. It was all allegedly left in the exact same position it was in during the murders. 6. Pigeonholed. For years after filming the original The Amityville Horror, James Brolin couldn't find a job. Due to the cruelty of his character in the film, no one wanted to book him. After the film became a blockbuster success, I'm sure it was a shock to all that Brolin would be receiving $17 million. 7. Not the actual house. The 1979 The Amityville Horror didn't use the real house for any of the film's shots. The city of Amityville refused to allow the film crew to shoot any scenes in the city, as they hoped to distance themselves from any negative publicity the film might create. Of course, the town of Amityville is now synonymous with the famous haunted house, so things didn't exactly work out the way they wanted. 8. Ocean Avenue. The original home was located at 112 Ocean Avenue, but the owner had the official address changed to discourage tourists and fans from disrupting their privacy. They changed the home address to 108 Ocean Avenue, but of course, any eagle-eyed fans would know that distinctive house anywhere. 9. Lawsuits. George and Kathy Lutz filed a lawsuit against many key players in the media furor related to the Amityville haunting, suing for invasion of privacy and misappropriation of name for trade purposes and negligent infliction of mental distress. The lawsuit would eventually be dismissed. 10. Paranormal Investigation. The famous paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren also believed the Lutzes. Ed called the house diabolically infested. The Warrens were unequivocally certain that something evil was lurking in that house. Conversely, Stephen Kaplan, another paranormal investigator, claims the haunting was indeed a hoax orchestrated by the Lutz family. Kaplan began to have suspicions about the Lutz story after George Lutz called him on the phone and asked him to investigate, but then cancelled shortly after Kaplan warned him that the public would find out if the Lutzes were trying to sell a hoax. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell to be notified of new videos.